Hello, my name is Sierra and welcome to my first How to Clay It video. Today I'm going to be trying to recreate a McDonald's Big Mac. So we're all familiar with Big Macs. I'm sure everybody has tried a Big Mac before. If you haven't, I don't know. But I'm going to be trying to recreate a Big Mac. This idea came from my husband. I guess at the time he was craving Big Macs, and when we had this conversation about this channel, he said, okay, yeah, you should recreate a Big Mac. So I'm going to insert a picture somewhere over here, maybe, of the Big Mac that I'm going to be recreating. I think this is going to be fairly easy because I have made a burger before. I think I've tried to make a Big Mac before. It didn't really come out looking exactly like a Big Mac, but I mean, you could tell what I was trying to do. So this time around, I want it to look as close to the picture as possible. So, I mean, like, what's the purpose of me trying to recreate it if it's not really going to look like it? But I want it to look as close to the picture as possible. So, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to turn out great. Maybe. Based on my own personal skills. I want to toot my own horn. But I think I'm very good at this. So, I don't think it's going to be too challenging. I didn't want to start out with something too challenging just in case it was a little bit hard, but I feel like I can do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. All right, so to get started, I'm going to use some white clay to shape out my bread. So for my bread, I need a top bun, a middle bun, and a bottom bun. So I'm just going to shape out all of those pieces using my X-Acto knife. I actually had to do this a couple of times, but eventually I got it. So now I'm going to take some yellow, orange, and brown pastels just to make my buns look a little baked, to make them look like real bread pieces. Because, you don't want raw dough in a Big Mac. So after I get done doing that, I'm going to take some sandpaper and add some texture, fill in some spots on the burger buns that I might have missed. And then I'm also going to take my needle tool and I'm going to add in some creases around my middle bun, because if you look at the picture, then, that's what I was going by, those little creases in the bun. All right, so now I have my pieces done and they are ready to bake. So I wanted to bake my buns first so they wouldn't squish when it came time to put everything together. So now I'm going to take some yellow clay and some orange clay, and I'm going to use this mixture to make my cheese. So if cheese isn't just a yellow color, I'm taking the orange to kind of make it match the picture that I'm using. I'm actually going to reference that a lot because at first it was just really hard to get this color right for some reason. All right, so here I'm going to take some green, translucent, and white clay that I had mixed together to give me sort of a color of lettuce. So after I cut out all of these pieces, I'm then going to take my ball tool and then add in more texture to them just to make them look a little imperfect and closer to how lettuce looks. And I'm going to take that cheese mixture that I had and I'm going to roll it out really thin to get it thin like cheese. I'm going to keep on rolling until I get it as thin as I want it to be. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to attempt to cut out a square shape for the cheese. I don't know why I found this to be very difficult. It's really one of the most easiest parts of this sandwich, but for some reason, I guess the angle that I was looking at it just was a bit wonky. All right, so I'm going to mix together some green, yellow, and translucent clay, and this mixture is going to make the color for my pickles. So I'm going to roll that out, and then I'm going to take some green and black pastels and paint the outside of it, because the outside of a pickle is darker than the inside. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and cut out some pickle slices. I was really satisfied with how these pickles came out. I think they look really good. All right, so I'm just going to take some plain brown clay and I'm gonna roll it out, and this is going to be for my patties for my burger. So I'm gonna take the bun slice that I have, and I'm gonna make an impression in the clay so I can get the size that I'm gonna need for each patty. So after I did that, I went ahead and took my X-Acto knife and I cut out each patty very carefully, of course. So once I have those, I'm just gonna continue to shape them to how I want them to look and get them as flat as possible, because on a Big Mac, well, on any McDonald's sandwiches, the patties are like really thin. So I'm gonna try to get that as thin as possible just to make it look realistic in my burger. And then I'm gonna take some foil that I have crumpled up and I'm gonna add in some texture. All right, now I'm gonna take some liquid clay, and this is gonna be for my mac sauce. So I added in some yellow pastels, and then I also went back and added in some yellow clay and some white clay just to make it not as smooth. You know, mac sauce is kind of chunky because they have other stuff added into it. So I added the clay to give it more texture and to make it look like there are other ingredients in it. So now it's time to assemble. I'm gonna take my bottom bun and then I'm gonna add in some mac sauce. And I went back and added in more color to my mac sauce just to make it resemble the actual mac sauce. So I'm gonna take my bun, my bottom bun, I added mac sauce, and then I'm gonna add in a layer of shredded lettuce. I'm gonna add my cheese. Fun fact, did you know that Big Macs only come with one slice of cheese? All right, so once I have my cheese down, I'm ready to add my first patty. And then I add my mac sauce on top of that just to make sure that top bun, since it's already baked, will stick to that bottom part. And then I'm gonna add more mac sauce, another layer of lettuce, and then these wonderful pickles. Like, I'm really happy with how my pickles came out. I wish you could have seen them more in the actual end product, but it's okay. And I'm gonna add my last patty and then my top bun. All right, so this part is where I had to make the sesame seeds. When I say this part was difficult, it was difficult, and it really shouldn't have been that difficult, but I don't know. And I had to redo it because at first I started out making these way too big and it just did not look realistic at all. All right, now it's time to bake this piece. So I have my oven set to about 275. I'm gonna add in my burger, my Big Mac, and then I ended up baking this for about 10 minutes. All right, so there you have it. This is my finished product. I think it does resemble the picture that I was referencing. If I could go back and redo this, of course, I would make a few changes, but I'm happy with how it turned out. All right, guys, so that's how I recreated the McDonald's Big Mac using polymer clay. I'm pretty happy overall with how it turned out. If I could go back and redo it and change some things about it, I probably would. Say for instance, my bread for my Big Mac, I probably would have made it a bit wider to match more with the picture, but overall, I think it came out pretty successful. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Turn your post notifications on if you want to be notified the next time I upload. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in my next video.